Brother Karatazar, Shield of Israel 144, back again with another quick precept. And today I want to talk about the will of God, right? So I'm just going to go over some quick precepts of about the will of God. Just going to get these precepts out there and let's try to understand what the will of the Most High is, right? So I'm going to kick it off with Psalms chapter 40 and 8, and it reads, I delight to do thy will, O my God. Yea, thy law is within my heart. So right here in Psalms 48, that we know that the will of the Most High that David's talking about is keeping the law, right? Because he got it within his heart. So so this is David just saying that he know the will of the Most High is for him to keep the law, and he keeps it in his heart. Let's go over here to Ecclesiastes in the Old Testament, and let's go to chapter 12 and verse 13, right? Want to go to verse 13, right? Book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 13, and it reads, Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. So part of the will of the Most High is for you to keep the law, statutes, commandments, and the faith in Christ. Ecclesiastes is saying that this is the whole duty of man. So the will of the Most High is your duty to keep the law, right? He laid it out there, and your duty is to follow through, and doing what the Lord, commanded us to do, in this Bible that we read and we study, and then we try to get the understanding of, right? So the will of the Most High so far is keeping the law in your heart, and your duty to the Most High, your whole duty, I should say, is to fear him and keep his commandments, right? Let's go to the book of John in the New Testament. Let's go to John chapter 14 and verse 15. And it simply just reads, this is the book of John chapter 14 and 15. It says, if you love me, keep my commandments. Now, I'm just wondering why some pastors, and I just seen a clip earlier today that we're not under the law. We can eat pork. We can do all these things that the Lord told us not to do. And it's just a vague understanding and a total lack of understanding of what the scriptures is saying. You know, you can read about keeping the law basically from Genesis all the way down to Revelations 22 and 14. So if the Lord say this is his will and it's your whole duty, I don't understand why people are teaching that we don't have to keep the law of God no more, right? It just don't make sense to me. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 10. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people were familiar with the Lord's Prayer, right? But we're going to focus right here on verse 10. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 10, and it reads, Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. So just like the will of God is done in heaven, the will of the Most High is going to be done in earth, right? It said it right here in Matthew's. The same will of the Most High that is done in heaven, and it will be done in earth. That's the Lord's will, keeping the law, statutes, commandments, and the faith in Christ, right? Let's go to the book of Ephesians and see what Paul say. Right, we're going to go to Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 17, and it reads, Wherefore be ye not unwise. Paul is telling you not to be unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. Now, we just went through a couple of precepts over what the will of the Lord is. David told you this, keeping the law is in his heart. You know what I'm saying? And that's the will of man in Psalms 40 and 8. And then we went to Ecclesiastes. It said, hearing the whole conclusion of the matter, keeping his commandments. And this is the whole duty of man. That's your duty. So the will of the Most High is keeping the commandments, like he said in John 14 and 15. If you love me, keep my commandments. Matthew 6:10 says, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. So Paul said, don't be unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is, keeping the law, statutes, commandments, and the faith of the Mashiach Yahushua, who the world called Jesus Christ. This is Brother Karatazar, Shield of Israel, 144. Shalom.